Hey everyone, this is Hero Tall Almighty 2011. Welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In the last episode, we started the Snowpeak Ruins, which I keep calling the Snowpeak Manor out of habit. And we got the ball and chain, the dungeon item, which basically makes Link's strongest weapon in the game, and I'm being attacked from above in every single place here. In this episode, we're going to continue through Snowpeak Ruins just because we need to find the actual boss key to get to the Mirror Shard. And that Wolfos, if I can go back, he was stuck on the treasure chest. That's the first time I've seen that happen. Anyway, I'm sorry if I still sound weird. I'm recording these back to back, so I'm still somewhat sick, and I almost walked headfirst into that ice. Anyway, now that we have the ball and chain, we can break the ice by either throwing at it or just standing next to it, so we no longer have anything blocking our way. So pretty much almost anything in this entire dungeon is open to us now. But we still have a while away to go, and yeah, remember last episode where I said I kind of stumble about because I keep forgetting if like we caught items, and these things go down in one hit now, which is amazing. I stumble about because I keep seeing stuff on the map and forget like if I collected those or stuff. Okay, we didn't get this because the ice is blocking it. What is this again? Oh, just a red rupee. Okay. If I remember correctly, there are 2 heart containers in this dungeon. One I showed off at the very beginning of this dungeon, and I should make note. I said before in Arbiter's Grounds, one thing speedrunners love to do is the Gale Boomerang trick, where you can basically make it so that Link will jump to wherever you locked on with the Gale Boomerang, and you can get that heart piece early. However, I don't do that just because it's risky. What, cheese? Did husband move it? Where in the world did we put it? Sorry, I need thinking time. Take cheese to husband, huh? You do that, I try to remember. So, yeah. And, the 2 heart pieces are actually relatively close to each other, so I'll make note of that when we get up to it. So, we have to go get molested by, Yeto again, because now we have cheese. Which, by the way, I guess, you're gonna see here, pretty much, once Yeto puts the cheese inside of the soup, it turns from just good soup to a gourmet soup. So apparently Yeto follows my philosophy that cheese makes everything better, except for like sweets. Because that thing just spawned. Yeah, so apparently cheese makes everything better, which I totally agree there, buddy, because I put cheese on almost anything except for like candy or cake or whatever. But yeah, so we dip it in and you got superb soup, never mind. What I'm thinking about is what Yeto says if you talk to him again, saying that, give it some more time on the fire and it's a gourmet soup. Unfortunately, you never get to try out this gourmet soup, but I assume pretty much it'd be the same thing as a blue potion, where it would basically restore all of your health. So, now she's gonna tell us the actual location. Yeah, look at all those unexplored rooms. Yeah, so we have the rest of the dungeon to go through because of this. In any case, I'm a bit tongue-tied here because I'm trying to remember what we have to go over. Oh yeah, if you remember, we got a Poe at the beginning of this, at the beginning of the dungeon. There are 3 Poes in this dungeon. The first one is over there, and the second one is actually over here.
Surprise, motherfucker!
The moment that you break this piece of armor, yeah, this thing pops out. You know, I take pride in censoring myself to make myself at least PG-13. But that clip is just really appropriate. Anyway, there's actually some hidden goodies for us over here, so that's why I came back to the entrance to break these. It should be noted that whenever you go to areas in Hyrule, you also no longer have to use your bombs to break open rocks or anything. You can actually use the ball and chain to break these open. The only exception is obviously underwater. Speedrunners like to do this just because I believe it saves time instead of using bombs, and I totally agree with that method too. So there's not much in these statues pretty much, except for just rupees and a bubble, pretty much. By the way, I know it looks like a cursed bubble, but cursed bubbles don't actually exist in this game. That's just an ice bubble, which I don't think ice bubbles were in Zelda before. If not, I'll put a thing up if I'm wrong. But it does drop an orange rupee, which I think it's the only enemy in the game that does that. I get, maybe it's a callback to Majora's Mask, where on the final day at nighttime, you can grind up huge rupees on the bubbles outside of Clocktown. Don't quote me on that, because I don't think it is a reference, but if it is, then well, it's a really appreciated reference. So, now that we have this door open, we open up a shortcut over here because we can push down this block. There's going to be a lot of times during this episode, by the way, that I'm going to either cut or fast forward, because, again, I know that the whole point of post-commentary is that I'm just talking over footage I already recorded, and I did this because I wanted to concentrate, so I'm not stumbling about like I normally do during the LP. But during these sections, I don't think you guys want me talking over just block puzzles pretty much. So we have a little mini gauntlet over here because we have a tower of 2 Freezards, which, yeah, again, you see the close-up of the Freezard. They look terrifying. I'm surprised these things are still called a Freezard, too. I think they would be like Freeze Dragons or something. But, yeah, definitely the most terrifying incarnation of Freezards to this date. And we're not done fighting these, by the way, because, ow. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I think I rolled instead of jumping. But, I love that animation, by the way, that when you hit them, it's like you hit them and then they just brush it off. It's like, that was rude. But, these aren't the last time we're going to be seeing these Freezards, by the way, because these Freezards are actually enemies inside the Cave of Ordeals. And, oh boy, you guys are going to love seeing me go through the Cave of Ordeals. Unfortunately, I believe I'm going to have the Cave of Ordeals either be its own episode or just post-commentary, because I don't really have much to say during that, just because it's just going to be a gauntlet of enemies. I'm going to run out of things to say really quickly. So, before, by the way, when I said you can use the Gale Boomerang to get that heart piece pretty early, what you're actually supposed to do is over here, which I don't show it off just yet, apparently, but you're supposed to just drop down and get this piece of heart, because once you drop down, there's a claw shot mark to get you back up. So yeah. What's there to say about this part, really? Just because there's not much going on. You pretty much know the gist of what we have to do for the rest of this dungeon, and there is one more gimmick that has to be covered, but is that coming up yet? I'm not sure. Again, like I said, I have to apologize for somewhat, like, stuttering and everything, again, just because I'm still recovering from a cold, so I'm a bit just out of breath and everything, and sometimes I have to stop to breathe or, like, sniffle. So we're on top
Surprise,
of that.
motherfucker!
By the way, hi. That totally caught me off guard, by the way. So I wasn't exaggerating when I said these things go down in one hit. And also, now that we broke this, if you ever fall or you want a shortcut from the bottom floor, you can do that now. Anyway, this is the last gimmick I was talking about. We have these platform chandeliers that can only be you have to swing them with the memento. Swing them with a memento? Wow, that doesn't even make any sense. You have to swing. You can swing the chandelier, you know, like that song. You could swing the chandelier by using your ball and chain to make it get momentum to go back and forth. Thing is, it doesn't go in every direction you want, so you have to be careful and pay attention to which direction it does go in, because it can also lose momentum, and pretty much you can't change the momentum once you're on it. You have to be off it and actively hit it to make the momentum go back up, so be careful with this. Now, like I said before, I'm defeating these Freezards now because that thing's a pain in the ass, even though now we do have a shortcut back up to this upper level. Over here, this is where the second heart piece is. We use the momentum, I keep saying memento. We use the momentum to get the chandelier to swing back and forth, and that's how you're getting over to the other side. However, the hard piece is all the way over there. And you have to be careful of the momentum here because you have to actively time it. So I'm gonna be quiet till I actually get this. Now, I surprised even myself there, because normally that takes me more than one try. What I thought I had to do before, pretty much, is that I thought that I needed to, keep the momentum going, but really you can just stop, and, it will still work. So, we press forward, I guess, and I can actually see the Chew Jelly from down there. If you need a purple potion, which I'm not going to mess with that after what happened in the Lake Bed Temple, there's a purple potion for you down there. So, inside this room, it's another mini gauntlet because we have a bunch of mini Freezards, and our third Poe was actually inside of that ice section over there, which, believe it or not, this Poe actually caught me off guard, so I wasn't actually ready for this thing, so I kind of froze up for a minute before I realized what was going on. And apparently so did the Poe. Again, I don't know why the hitboxes are being so weird to me on the Poes after the whole emulator thing. Because again, I'm playing on my legitimate copy this time, so I don't know why Link kept missing. Now, I always think that there's something more to this dungeon. Well, not this dungeon, this room. By the way, don't touch the walls. You're gonna freeze if you do. I always thought there was something more to this area, especially because I hear keys and everything. But apparently there is nothing to this area. And it bugs me because it's like either the keys don't spawn, or it just feels like there's supposed to be something more. And by the way, for the life of me, I don't know why the game has to load this room separately. Because realistically, it looks like this room should... Oh, yeah. These barrels, by the way, there's absolutely no way to break them unless you use the ball and chain, but I kind of forgot midway. So now we also have a shortcut back up here, just in case we need to fall down on everything. So, remember that block puzzle from before, where we needed to put the ice blocks into consideration? Well, now that we can break the ice blocks, we can actually hit the switch in the middle. Now, normally... when I play this back in the day, this block puzzle takes me a good while to figure out, but I decide, for once, what happens if I only break, what happens is if I break the ice blocks at a specific time during the puzzle? Can I just cheat it and have it so that I can place, stuff on top of the ice blocks? I can use the ice blocks to essentially make new paths for myself. And by doing so, I can place blocks on top of the ice blocks. And then break the ice blocks so that the switch will be able to be pressed. And funny enough, this probably isn't how the puzzle is supposed to be solved. But yeah, it totally works. So instead of, speeding up this process and everything, yeah, I was able to figure out this puzzle right away, and I'm actually pretty proud of myself for figuring that out right away. So, in any case, now that we have this puzzle figured out, that door on the top is now open to us, which, now we can progress further on in the dungeon. Believe it or not, what we actually have to do is, if you remember when we were in that mini gauntlet area, there was a door that we needed a small key for, and we didn't have the small key. Well, as silly as it sounds, the small key is actually way, way over there, and I don't know why. But, yeah, we need to go all the way over there to get that small key. One thing I could talk about, by the way... Oh, wow, that was a weird voice crack. So this area sucks, so you have to be really careful, and I'm running out of bombs at this point, so I'm like, whoa, I never noticed that. I knocked him off the platform. So that's what I was talking about, by the way, that if you don't hit them within enough time, within a certain time limit, they'll actually get out of their stagger mode, and you have to hit them with 2 bomb arrows again. And I guess that Chilphos died because I knocked him off the cliff. Apparently he couldn't stand a 3-foot fall. So anyway, we're now on top of that area that had that we originally fought the Chilphos. And here is our claw shot target, just in case we fall off. So now that we're on top of this area where we originally fought the Chilphos, yeah, this is where the small key is. And this is, if you didn't go for that piece of heart like I did earlier, this is the section of the dungeon that tells you, oh, you can use 2 chandeliers at separate angles to get to places. And apparently that momentum didn't work, even though realistically that should have totally worked. So, jump across, and inside here. You know, there's one thing I never understood, and actually, looking at that picture above Link now, that totally looks like a guy with, that looks like a guy and his daughter. Yeah, that totally could be Ashe and her father. Oh, Ashe, why is it that Twilight Princess, although I love Twilight Princess, and again, I'm hyped up if that HD remaster is true, which, by the way, apparently, there's a rumor that we're going to get Nintendo Direct on Thursday, which this, you know, Thursday being the day this video goes up. I hope that's true, because there was apparently a 4chan leak saying that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct last week, and that didn't happen because they said the Nintendo Direct is going to get delayed because of the leaks, and if it does get delayed, it's going to show up this Thursday. I really hope that's true because the new president of Nintendo, which again, I'm sorry I can't remember your name at this point, but he did say there was going to be one more Direct for 2015, so I really do hope. And oh god, I legitimately did not expect the freeze art to just be right there. That actually kind of scared me. You know what's funny? Even though these things, you know, are made of ice, can you imagine these things could somehow burn your shield? Like they were like they're white Curem that they have like freeze burn pretty much. By the way, random off topic, I kind of don't like when Black and White 2 came out. While I absolutely love Black and White Curem, Black Curem specifically, I kind of find it silly that he's still Dragon Ice. Realistically, shouldn't he be like Dragon Fire, I mean Ice Fire and Ice Electric? Or would that be too broken? I mean, to be fair, I say that'd be too broken, but Mega Rayquaza exists. And like, Mega Mewtwo and everything, yeah, he was the most broken legendary Pokemon just because he has 2 Mega forms, but what were they thinking with Mega Rayquaza? We need a Mega Arceus to balance this all out, because Rayquaza is literally like god level at this point, to the point where there's a tier of anything goes and it's just him. It's kind of like the opposite of the roll tier in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, where she just sucks so much she's in her own tier. But okay. So what I was saying before, I'm hyped up for the possibility of Twilight Princess HD. So I'm like praying for that announcement on Thursday, along with the possibility that apparently there's also a rumor that we might be getting HD remasters of old games, because we might be getting GameCube games on top of we might finally be getting GameCube games on the Virtual Console, but on top of that too, apparently we have Mario Sunshine HD, which a former friend of mine would really be hyped about. We apparently have Mario Sunshine HD and F-Zero X HD, which Miyamoto did say he didn't want to make a new F-Zero game until he had a new controller, because at first I didn't understand that, but then I realized what he was talking about, because the Wii U gamepad doesn't have a trigger. Well, it has a trigger, but it's not pressure sensitive. So unless you use the GameCube controller, which right now that's only compatible with Smash Bros, you can't really have like an accurate racing game. So I understand where he's coming from with that. It's just, yeah, I want F-Zero X just because it's not that I don't want a new F-Zero, it's just X has a really good soundtrack, and I would love to hear that remastered because electric guitar. I don't know if I said this before, my 3 favorite instruments are the electric guitar, piano, and violin, and oh god, I love it when things get remastered. That's why I love Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 so much. Just because the remaster soundtrack is just glorious. It just makes me sad that Re-Enchanted Memories wasn't remastered, just because that's still outside of Lord of the Castle, which I believe that did get remastered for HD. Yeah, Re-Enchanted Memories still uses some synthetic, and I find that kind of sad, just because I love Re-Enchanted Memories soundtrack, and I would have loved to have heard it redone. But Lord of the Castle is still a good track. Anyway, I completely avoided talking about that room, but we go in here, and yeah, it looks like we finally got the location right. Fun fact, there is no boss key. It's actually just the bedroom key. It's actually a nice little callback to the Thieves' Hideout in A Link to the Past, where there technically wasn't a boss. You had to escort the maiden out of the dungeon, and then she would turn into the boss. Which, that's gonna come full circle here. So, interesting thing. Notice how there's a chapel in this game and no mention of the goddesses. So apparently there was Catholicism somewhere. So, apparently the soup that we never get to try made Yetta feel better. So now she's waiting. Wow, why can't I speak? Now she's waiting for us outside of the room, and she's gonna walk over to the bedroom with us. When I first played this game, and I'm not gonna put the footage up just because it's painfully slow, but I actually walked with her the entire way to the bedroom. Don't do that, it just wastes time. Just go up to the bedroom and she'll magically game dash over. Thank you. Come inside. You know, that can be taken so wrong if you put it into different terms. Anyway, let's go inside and finally get that second shard of the mirror, shall we? So we've now come in full circle about the references of A Link to the Past. Our NPC of the dungeon, our so-called maiden, has become the boss. This is the Twilight Ice Mask Blizzetta. This entire dungeon has already taught you how to use the ball and chain, so this boss should be no problem, I say, as I keep getting hit by her. Funny thing is, during this boss phase, she can't really attack you outside of these mini Freezars that she sends out. She just goes around the room like, you know, kind of like a bumper car pretty much. But first phase already done. And now on to the second phase, which this phase is actually kind of tough, and if you bought the if you bought the superb soup, this is gonna come in handy because she is going to hurt you if you are not ready. Basically, what you have to do when these things come crashing down, which you can look at them by tilting out the camera and paying attention to the floor, you have to destroy these to open up a path for yourself, and then basically hit her when there's an opening. Now, I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit because this is one of my favorite boss themes in the entire game. Now, even though I really hope that Twilight Princess HD actually orchestrates this this soundtrack, because it really deserves it, you know, I actually am not gonna lie, I like the syntheticness of this soundtrack. At least this song in particular, just because I heard this song orchestrated by the Twilight Symphony, and it didn't sound as good. But anyway, now that we have the third hit on her, which, yeah, I actually got 4 phases down just because I actually messed up. That's the first time this happened to me on this boss. This boss is pretty easy. It's just she hurts if you actually get hit by her, and you have to make sure that you time all of your attacks. Otherwise, you are going to get absolutely destroyed with her. And make sure that you put yourself against the wall just so it's easier for you to aim. Anyway, we defeat her. Well, we have 2 mirror shards now. 2 more left, Link. Still, I feel bad about the way we treated that girl. To think the Mirror of Twilight has the power to change people like that. This world, all worlds, can be cruel. Let's hurry up and collect the rest of those pieces, Link. We have to, before more innocent creatures get... Okay, at least past me, we'll skip that. Well, let's go search for the 2 that remain. So now you may be thinking, okay, we beat a boss, so where's our heart container? Well,
Move, bitch!
so not only did we get our heart container, but we also rekindled their love. Now, if you ever come back to this dungeon, hearts will actually start to spawn now because their love is rekindled. And honestly, I think that's a really nice touch. It's a weird in-game explanation for the hearts, but it's a really nice touch. In any case, we're done here. So, in the next episode of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, we're going to be doing more stuff before we go on to the next dungeon, since there's not a lot of stuff we have to do. So, see you guys next time.